Greetings, spiritual family. In the continuation of Black Heritage Month, I want to remind you, nobody is going to be blind to your race because you share the same religion. God is God. Religion is religion. They are not the same. I'm sorry, but they are not. Don't confuse religion with God. Religion is an institution created by man to serve the needs of man, which leads me to another man-made programming. Africans versus African Americans, or Africans versus Caribbeans, or Caribbeans versus African Americans. A division tactic created by the colonizer to keep all of us divided. It forces people to look at narratives they've been repeating without questioning. Africans versus African Americans versus Caribbeans. This is manufactured and deliberate because this divide did not fall out of the sky. It was built on purpose, and is one of the most successful division tactics the colonizer ever pulled, because it convinced the people who share ancestry, bloodlines, spirituality, resilience, and stolen history that they are somehow enemies instead of being a fractured family. Here is the ugly truth. Colonization has never been a good thing because the colonized were left in a much worse state than when you found them. Africans were colonized, exploited, carved up, stripped of resources, demonized, languages and culture erased, borders drawn by people who never even lived there. Africans were kidnapped, enslaved, beaten, sold, bred like cattle, lynched, renamed Black people. You have to understand, the colonizer created colorism, and that gave birth to racism. They called us Black, even though technically our skin isn't actually black, more like light brown to dark brown, and called themselves white, and in actuality, their skin is pale, or in some cases pink. So with that in place, centuries later, African Americans are then released into a system designed to keep you oppressed and trapped. Man, those are some different traumas. Different does not mean greater. It means different scars from the same sword. Your enslavers separated identity from origin. They told Africans, you're not them. They told African Americans, you have no culture. They told both of them, the other one is the problem. And guess what? We ran with it. Africans were taught to look down on African Americans as lazy, undisciplined, damaged by slavery. And that's without acknowledging that survival under a system built to crush you looks different than survival in your homeland under colonial rule. African Americans were taught to see Africans as backward, primitive, unrelatable, out of touch, and we would never want to go back there. Not understanding the struggle, not acknowledging that Africa was intentionally destabilized. This was to ensure that no unified Black power base could ever exist again. That resentment did not grow naturally. It was planted, watered, repeated, and now people argue online like this divide is ancient, when in actuality, it's relatively new. All of this born from colonization, slavery, and Western propaganda. They could not afford for Black people to reunite, because if they did, culturally, economically, psychologically, it would threaten the entire Western power structure. They knew this because they saw our legacy. They saw the monuments. So instead of chains, they used narratives. Instead of whips, they used stereotypes. Instead of laws, they used hate. And it works so well that now people defend the division like it's their own idea. And that's the real tragedy. Because the beauty of African culture and African American culture is in their differences. African culture carries the ancestral memory, language, land connection, and spirituality. African American culture carries transformation, innovation, resistance, intelligence, creativity, born under pressure. A culture forged in survival mode. One was preserved and the other evolved from nothing. Both sacred, both valid, and now both incomplete without the other.